Good morning, professional photographers of Idaho. I'm Larry Fry.
I'm Carrie Grant.
And we're here today to bring you our Friday Live. And today's guest, Carrie, will be showing you what's in this magnificent blue bag right here, or whatever color it is. Sea green, right?
Yeah.
So, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
So, I'm doing well.
Other than the raspy.
Yeah, raspy. But that's a little bit of beer will solve that. We're kind of the new people on the block-ish about on the board of directors.
Oh, I'm the super new.
She's a super new. So good way to get to know Carrie through this little exercise that we're going through. This is just one of many what's in your bag events for the summer, and it's actually a fun thing to go through. I mean, you start going through your bag like, oh yeah, I used that for this, or I used that for that, or whatever. And you probably spent hours going through yours and taking some.
My bag is not very full.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's okay, because the fuller you get them, the heavier they are. So that's not good either. So we were just talking before, you know, what Carrie shoots for genre, and basically she shoots equestrian, seniors, and some families. We were talking we should mention that we just came off of a couple of weeks ago. We just came off of a marvelous presentation, 2-day presentation with Brian Welsh and Aaron Hockley, and I think I was in a mood or something. Anyway.
Oh, you were.
Yeah, I did something. Anyway.
Yeah.
We sat next to each other, and you were kind of like, "Whoa, maybe shouldn't be here with him." And I agreed that maybe she shouldn't, but it was okay. We made it through. So anyway, yeah, it was fun, and it was fun that I had to separate you and Kim, right? Because you and Kim are chatty.
Two horsey girls.
Yeah, and chatty buddies. So
yep.
I took one for the team, you know, and stepped in there, stopped you from chatting.
Yeah.
But we were talking at that about, you know, because I'm changing my business model-ish. Well, I am, and so are you, kind of. So So we're both kind of in limbo, I would say.
I feel like I've been in limbo since I opened my studio.
Well, yeah. You feel that way all the time.
Right?
I do too. So like, what am I doing here? So this is ridiculous. So anyway, Nice to have you.
Thanks.
Welcome.
Nice to be here.
Yeah.
You've
I've
got
been
some
putting-
folks on board with us this
Sweet.
morning. Kim Minter, of course, is
Hi,
watching.
Kim.
She says hello.
Hi, Kim.
My wife, Brianna, says good morning, Larry and
Hi,
Carrie.
Brian.
Wow, Larry and
Oh,
Carrie,
we
that's
met.
a thing.
I know.
That's
we were-
very cool.
Fancy.
And I won't tell you that Kim said the background music was on because I fixed that.
Oh, good
Okay.
job.
Anyway,
Thanks, Kim, for
all right,
that.
Bob out. Back to you.
That timely reminder.
Back to you, Bob and Barb. I don't
I
do
want to come over for Timber cuddles. Timber, her new puppy.
Oh,
Got a new
Timber.
puppy.
I was like, what in the hell are you talking
I know,
about?
I just got out of the blitz.
All right, Timber Cuddles. Yeah, I saw that. She
She's so-
is on
she's
Facebook or something.
adorable.
Well, you think it's ever going to leave Kim's side? No, not a bit. Okay, so anyway, Brian and Aaron were here, and they did it was a good 2-day learning session.
It was amazing.
And if you weren't there, you missed out. Seriously missed out. Not only did you miss out on a merit for each day, but there was some pertinent information in both presentations that I found that I latched onto and hopefully can do something. I think that Brian actually called me the other day, but it came from a restricted number, and I don't answer restricted numbers real easily. So I'm going to have to call him back and say, was that you? 'Cause
I have not done my homework.
did you sign up? Did you go out there and put your address?
Yeah. And
Oh.
remember, he'd said the 7-day thing.
Yeah.
And
So I did that.
I haven't done that.
I did that.
Yeah, I haven't done that yet.
Nothing's happened with it, but I did it.
Okay.
So
Well,
yeah,
at least you
there's
did
that.
it.
Yeah,
I keep saying I'm going to do it, and then
yeah. Then it didn't happen.
it's kind of how I roll. Though.
So what else has been going on in PPI land? Not a lot. We had we had clear skies the other night, or a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I guess it was. Some of us went out and got blurry-eyed looking at the Milky Way. That was kind of fun. I did my own thing, but I think Michael. Nothing new at all. I think Michael and Kim went out and they went up to Fairfield, and I was thinking about going down to Bruno, but then I got to thinking about it's a state park and they might close it at 10 or whatever because
yeah.
it's a weird deal there.
And don't they? You have to have a permit to shoot.
You have to have a park. If you're just shooting and you're not shooting for money, which is
okay.
what we did, you just have to have a park pass. But I think they closed the gates on that thing at 10, I believe. But I think there's a way you can walk in, like park outside and walk in. But I didn't explore that. I just went out and shot the Milky
do a
Way.
day trip down there. I've never shot down there.
It's actually pretty fun.
I can imagine.
It'd be better like eat way early morning or
When the sand is not scorching hot.
yeah, would be a good idea. So not other than that, it's been a pretty low key for me anyway. Past couple of weeks in summer as we get into the hot weather. So I don't know
How
about
many
you.
weddings are you still? I mean, are you?
I
know you're
just-
transitioning.
Yeah, I just wrapped up I think my last one. Yeah.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yep, I sent them all off. That was a wedding over in Seattle I had, and I will, of course, I'm not going to do it again anyway, but I accepted a deal from the bride and groom where they had a buddy that wanted to take some pictures and learn and all this stuff, and I thought, okay that's okay. And then so I fastidiously went over with the bride and groom what I was shooting and what this other person was in for. I met up with them. Where did I meet up with them at? Somewhere. I think it was here in Boise. I met up with him about a week and a half ago. The other part didn't do what he was supposed to do.
Okay.
So I feel this is the first time I've ever done that. It would be, if I was to continue on, it would be the last time. This is a little warning for you people. So I would never do that again because what I delivered to them was an incomplete wedding. But it was what I was tasked with. So and they are not at me at all, but they were not in a good frame of mind, so now that just diminishes the whole process of, sales post,
And this is why you're getting out of weddings.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. So you can't, it's hard to make people happy. I mean, like that, they had this good friend, he had this Ace's camera, was going to do all this stuff. There's nothing like experience, and I could tell he was in trouble about, 2 steps down the aisle. He wasn't getting, we was in a barn, literally a barn, and even though it was the middle of the day, barns have very few windows,
Yep.
and they had some great mood lighting. It was those Edison bulbs hanging from the
Oh,
ceiling.
fun. Yep.
But they don't put any light, right? I mean, they do for it, just so
Not
you get.
enough.
No, exactly. So anyway,
Let me see your mic back. I don't think yours is turned on.
Oh,
we just have a technical issue here.
not loud enough.
That'll solve that problem.
Okay.
I think
you hear
maybe
me
the
now?
on/off button maybe wasn't pushed. So
That is a common problem. The ONOFF
yes.
or the POWER
Yeah,
chord.
when your IT guy says, "Is it on?" you have to answer correctly. So,
Yeah.
all right. So, great time with Brian and Aaron for the 2 days. Sam Marvin's studio held us all. We didn't lose any money,
I know.
so that was
awesome.
that was brilliant right
And we
there.
got
You know,
great education.
Yeah.
I was thinking on that very topic, and this is Bob Ryder. I'm offset. I'm producing today, if you didn't know that.
But he's here.
But I'm here. I was thinking about that. Like, okay, so it was pretty much a break even. Like, we didn't make a profit on the deal, which is fine because that's not what we exist for.
No.
I am stoked on the merits that I got for that. I'm working towards my master's degree, and I'm already like halfway there on the lower side, if you know how that works. So.
Yep. Anyway, yeah, I am too. I'm stoked about the merch.
And I did my 7-day, and we're in our 30-day, and
Well, I did my 7-day. I'm just not in the 30-day business yet. So I had a little challenge. And I did have to move my phone holder here. So sorry for the people that were watching. That's my monitor.
we're keeping it loose today.
I used to have a big monitor. Now I got my phone. So
You're watching?
It works.
yeah, it's right here.
I know. I keep looking over. I'm like, oh,
Oh, well, then at least we have a
I got-
viewer.
Yeah.
great.
All right. So what else we got coming up? Well, a couple more announcements. First off, and foremost would be fall retreat. And you want to throw that up on the?
I cannot.
You can't.
He doesn't- yeah.
That program is
He's
not working,
Englished.
but it's September 22nd
September
through the 24th in Baker City, Oregon.
Oh, gun.
So not only do I not have a monitor, now I don't
know.
have
We
the
don't have-
visual
we don't have the
clues.
ticker.
Yeah.
I tried.
Okay.
Next week, there
So-
will be a new computer.
I said
in this
when I came
position.
in here, if any technology is going to fail, it will be for me because
That's true.
I got that mojo.
This particular item hasn't been working for the
So September, what is it, 24th? Is that what, did I-
22nd through 24th. Yes.
22nd to the 24th. We're going to go to Baker City. I've got an idea that I'm going to toss it out there now. We haven't really vetted this, but I think it's probably going to fly. So one of the things, we're going to have classes, of course. Well, one of the things we're going to have is a shootout challenge.
Nice.
And your prize for the shootout challenge is a spot at convention.
Ooh.
So putting some skin in the game. So if you
Wow.
win the shootout challenge at Fall Retreat,
Yeah.
you get a pass for convention next April,
Who's going to judge?
May, March, something.
March. Right.
Well,
I had the dates for you. They're gone.
yeah,
Sorry.
I'm pretty sure it's
all right.
March.
It's just not working.
I think it's March. But anyway, we're
Judge.
to make this to judge.
Who's going to judge it?
You know, I have
gotten that far?
I do have some. I do have some names in mind.
Okay.
Obviously, they have to be there. That's
Yeah.
the first thing. And then, but it will be a panel of judges that cannot win the prize.
Okay.
Okay. So, and we're going to go with the 12 elements, or
Yep.
as close as we can.
Right.
And these are not These are not judges that have been trained.
Right.
So we're just going to get together. This is always a fun time. We're going to probably have to limit this to about 25 people, although I'd like to get 30 in there, but I'm having difficulty with the logistics on 25 and this shootout challenge. So here's what it's going to be. One of the classes. Hang on there, Bob.
I just have the dates for you if you want them.
Oh, okay.
Kim Minter's got her back. She's out there. March 30th through April 2nd for our annual
March
convention.
Next year. Perfect. So here's kind of how this is going to work. Everybody that goes needs to shoot in this challenge. This isn't going to be an optional thing. It's not going to be like you can go and, I don't want to do it. I'm going to skip it because, Bob's making fun of me or whatever. That's just not going to happen. So everybody that goes.
You guys are the two that never shoot, so this will be interesting.
Well, I do.
He shoots.
What?
He doesn't.
I remember at the Salt Flats, both you guys were just kind of hanging there.
Well, Salt Flats was a different.
Okay.
There was a reason why we were kind of hanging, is because we were everybody was kind of doing their own. We were trying to round everybody up and get stuff to.
I spent a lot of time bringing water to people.
Yeah, water. You remember that?
Yeah.
Get people hydrated.
So here's how this is going to work. So everybody needs to shoot, and it's a model. It's one light, one exposure. One of the classes will be on.
Whoa.
One of the classes will be on a light meter. One of the other classes that I have in mind, and I'm pretty sure this is going to happen, will be a session with one light and posing, and where to put the light and the posing. And then I have another class in mind that I can't say yet because I don't have anybody for it or fleshed out yet. But so there'll be 3 classes there that will show you how to do this.
One shot.
One shot, one exposure. That's it. Now that doesn't mean you can't trip your lights a whole bunch of times. Okay, it doesn't mean that. What it means is you have 15 minutes to shoot a picture, and it's whatever comes out of your camera is whatever. You can't. There's no post-processing, no nothing. So, as most of you know, when you do that kind of stuff, your images look raw, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they look unfinished, right? Which is what they're supposed to look like, and we will be judging on those finished.
I mean, it's almost like
pictures.
going back to film days, right? Where
Yeah, absolutely.
You had
Yep.
no feedback, and you couldn't just well. I
Correct.
mean, some of us did and wasted a lot of film.
So when you shoot this picture, boom, you take your lights, go nuts, and away you go. When you shoot that picture, that's your entry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So then those are all going to go to judges, and we're not going to take a ton of time, but we will try to do the 12 elements and all that stuff. The pose is up to you. The location probably will not be, and the model will not be. So
Right. Because everybody will have the same model, correct?
Correct. So
It says she'll judge instead of shoot. Wink.
who?
Kim.
No,
Ditto, girl.
you're shooting.
Kim's like,
I
I want
think
to
the
shoot a
board
human
could judge.
being.
What's
I
that?
think your board could judge.
Yeah.
That's
Because
but,
we'll
but
be
there's a couple more that I
running the
need. I
convention.
wanted. Yeah, I need to bring some
Experience.
experience. And yeah. I know. So anyway, I think this is going to be fun, and it's in Baker City. We plan on doing astrophotography over there because it's a dark weekend that weekend. We plan on doing
That just made
some.
Kim happy.
Yep, we plan on doing some. It did make him happy. We plan on doing some ghost towns. There's Anthony Lakes over there. If you want to go up there, Bob and I haven't made our road trip yet, which we are going to do to go over and see.
Scout.
So for
He
example,
keeps promising me the road trip.
for example,
And then he keeps going somewhere else.
Exactly. From Baker City to Anthony Lakes is about 30 miles. From Baker City to Sumter, around there is probably 14, 15, 16 miles, something like that. But Baker City's kind of right in the middle of all that stuff. The Oregon Trail thing is right there. What I would love to have for a model, if anybody out there knows of any, I would love to have a full Indian pony headdress thing.
Oh.
The whole ceremonial Indian.
Amazing.
The feather. Yeah.
I would shoot that.
Oh no!
Now there goes our judging panel.
Well, he just slapped me across the face with a pair of gloves. Is what he did.
Yeah, I would shoot that. I would love to. Who said
So
root?
Pendleton, as you know, is not very far away. All of that country over there is Indian, obviously. And hopefully I can find somebody like that. Probably have to pay some money for that, but that's okay. And then we'd like to take a couple of additional models, just to, like, for example, maybe in the ghost town or maybe in the Anthony Lakes or whatever. So anyway, got a fun couple of days planned. We're going to put some skin in the game. If you take this picture and yours happens to win, you come to convention for free. You have to pay your room and board, but other than that, and your food. But other than that, convention's taken care of. So, all right. And we kind of covered convention, so that's kind of out too. Except because we don't have any.
We don't know much about convention.
Yeah, we
yet.
don't have very many details on that yet. So.
Well, we know where and we know when.
where and
Yeah.
when.
Yeah.
Here in Meridian,
We
same
don't know
facility
what
as
yet.
last
We
year,
do
recorded by
have-
Marriott.
We have got leads on people that want to speak, yada yada. So,
Yes.
but
I actually
but
have
there
a
but there's
potential
not
speaker, too.
there's not like a list of stuff made up yet.
We got time.
Yeah, we got time. So
Get into your camera bag.
Sure.
that
you
was
ready?
next. Oh yeah, I'm ready. So
Okay. You
without
can stop
further
talking.
ado,
All right.
Here's Carrie Grant
trying
and
not to
her
fall off my chair.
turquoise camera bag.
Actually,
Teal
I
turquoise.
love the fact, well, tell us about the bag.
Yeah.
No, you love the fact that I have a girly camera bag?
I don't think that's girly at all.
No, I don't think so either.
I think that's just
Nice.
super for school.
So when I first came to Boise and I went to my first convention with PPI, Candy Lamont and Annie Bingham both had these House of Flynn bags. And I saw them and I went, I need one of those. So when I had a very big sale, this is how I rewarded myself.
Nice.
Because they are not cheap. So,
I kind of like it because it doesn't look like a camera bag.
well, that's another. So but I did travel with this. I went to a workshop in Minnesota last month, and this does not travel very easily. So I did end up getting the think tank. Remember we talked about getting the think tank airport security. So that's what I'll use if I have to walk anywhere because it has wheels.
Wheels on it.
So this does have backpack straps in it, but it's still just not super comfortable. But it's awesome for when it's in the back of my car, for senior sessions, for equestrian sessions. I do also use the wagon, like you use, that's awesome.
Smart.
We're waiting for that to go on sale at Costco just to carry all of the other things that don't fit on the cart.
It's actually awesome, especially on a senior session.
If you have more things than fit on this cart, you have too many things.
Well, but your client often has
You know
things.
the answer to that.
Right, so your client, so for seniors, obviously, when they're doing outfit changes and such, it's awesome to be able to throw, for walking any distance, their shoes that they walk in, you can just swap them. Like, it's awesome just to have
You
that
could put a
extra.
changing tent in that thing.
I have done that, and I've never actually popped up the changing tent.
I've popped
We
that up.
always just figure it out.
I know. I've popped that up before. And they usually,
It's a pain.
Yeah, and usually they'll say, "Oh, I'll just change over here."
Yeah.
Okay. Have fun.
Exactly.
Yep.
So, but yes, I do love my bag, and it's got
I like it
buds on
because
it.
it's canvas. You guys can't see this, but it is a heavy-duty canvas. It's like.
Yep.
I'm going to list your contents if you're about to open this.
Why don't we?
Okay, so we're starting with the good stuff, and then we'll go to the little guys. So I also, as most of us, love my spider holster. Best thing ever.
Ever.
I have not dropped my camera on the ground like Sam has.
I have also.
I have not yet.
I have once.
Wood.
I was photographing a
Touching wood.
helicopter base during a wildfire, and I was out on a dirt runway lined with huge, like, Chinook helicopters. And I was so fascinated by the helicopters, I didn't even look down and just a thunk.
I've come close. I have definitely come close. But okay, so this is my beast. It is large and in charge. I would say 80% of the time I have my 70 to 200 on here. I love it. It's dirty. So that's actually one thing I wanted to mention is that you and I have had the conversation before about filters.
Yep.
You do not use them because you are more often than not indoors
90% studio.
in a studio. So for
Controlled
me,
environment.
being either on a senior session, which is almost always outside, or equestrian sessions, which are always dusty and dirty and gross, I always have a filter on because
I would use a filter in
Yeah.
a rodeo environment, anything like that.
lots of dust and constantly cleaning it. So it's the R5, which I love to pieces. I do have an R6 as a backup. I do not carry it with me. Again,
So is it-
touch wood.
How's it back up?
It's like a backup camera.
But if you don't carry it with you, then that would
You
feel
have to back up and
Because
go get it.
touch wood, I don't really don't want to jinx myself.
You didn't know your
I haven't had this fail.
you didn't know your host was gonna rat on you.
Like
Yeah.
throw me under the bus. Yeah, I know. I have a lot of backup things that aren't actually in my bag because I don't want to carry it
Can
all.
I make a recommendation on that?
Keep it in my car.
A backup bag.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily go traipsing with you, but it's not all the way back in Boise.
When I'm in CUNA. Yeah. Yes, that's probably good advice. Okay, so, and I use the battery grip for two reasons. One, I love being able to go vertical. And I use all the buttons this way, and I just find it super convenient. I also, if I'm shooting a horse show, I am shooting all day, and the two batteries that fit into the grip keep me going all day. I don't have to replace my batteries. So although I still have a backup battery. I do have that. Okay, so R5, the 70-200 RF lens. I did do the big swap when I got the R5. I thought I would use the adapter and then
Thought better of it.
got over that pretty quickly and swapped everything out. So, and then...
Well, you pretty much have to take advantage of the stabilization in the lens and in the camera. So you're kind of defeating a purpose there if you use that adapter. I mean, one of the built-in.
And I think, I can't remember whose session it was, but I think Bob said when you use the EF lenses with the adapter.
Sam.
Was it Sam?
He thinks he's getting better performance out of the EF
Yes.
lenses adapted to the R body.
Which Dave Ward had said, because I was asking, when I made the switch, do I just stick with the old lenses? Do I get new lenses? And he said that the EF lenses will perform better than, if on a DSLR. However, these are better.
They're just better.
They're just better.
There's a reason
And
they
the
changed them out.
R5,
They changed the physics of the situation.
It's insane.
by a large amount.
and the R5 for me has been game changing. I was the 5D previously, and the eye tracking for me is just, and I was kind of putting off mirrorless. I was like, ugh, I don't need it. I did the same with film to digital. But the eye tracking has been absolutely phenomenal.
You and Kodak are in that same camp.
Right.
Digital.
Yeah. Old school. The one bummer is that the eye tracking, Canon says that it is certified, validated, whatever you call it, for humans, dogs, cats, birds.
Not horses.
Not horses.
Have you done the most recent update?
I have not.
Okay, so they...
Have they
I'll
added?
come up into the mic. There have been enhancements
Oh, good.
to the eye tracking.
Because it doesn't.
It will track
do
a
horses.
helmeted driver in a race car.
Okay, so that's just the firmware update.
The firmware update.
Remember me saying I'm not very techie?
Like, that's,
Okay,
You know who
I'm
to
gonna do
ask.
that. I'll ask my dad. Actually, he knows how to do all that. He's my camera tech. My husband is my computer.
the firmware
tech.
update's worth it. On these
Okay.
cameras, they literally, in going to this mirrorless route, you literally the camera that gets upgrades.
It's like the
through
Tesla.
Yeah.
It just keeps changing.
It just gets better.
Okay. Okay, I will do that. Then, let's see. What do I have? So this is my 24-70. Also love this lens. I use this a lot in studio. It depends on, I've got a couple different shooting bays. Sorry, I have cats and there's just cat hair everywhere. It depends on which shooting bay I'm using in my studio if I've got space to use my
That lens,
other
that lens right there is.
Which one is it?
This is the
24-70. It was interesting to see. I just did a workshop with Annie Marie, who does a lot of fine art and studio and seniors. Thank you. I do know that. She uses that lens because she's got a tiny little studio, but it's an awesome lens. I love it. And then I have an 85 prime, which is also phenomenal.
Then that was
Right.
that Mr. Brilliance right here.
So if I'm in studio and I have the space, I'm on this.
Yeah. I would
And
be
sometimes
too.
on a senior session.
I would be honest with you. I'd have that thing on my stuck on there.
Yeah.
That's my most used lens.
Yeah.
My 85.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And then I didn't go the 24-70 route.
Oh, really?
I love the concept of the shallower depth of field, but for what I do,
Don't need it.
the 24-105 is such an incredible event lens. If you just push that science a little harder and bring that down to a 2.8.
What is it?
It's an F4.
4.
Which isn't any problem. Maybe you're not getting the very creative wide open aspect of that. And then they've got a 28-70 coming out, which is F2, I think. Which just is more intriguing and more expensive. But
Keep getting more expensive.
that's a classic quandary: is do you go the 24-70 2.8, or do you go to the 24-105 to get that little bit of extra range? So for me, the extra range makes sense for working commercial events and things like that. It's
Sure.
just gooder.
It's gooder.
But I envy that lens. Like
It's an awesome lens.
So when I decide I need spare lenses, that'll be one of the spare lenses that I.
Right. And I think we talked about this before we went online, but I'm also lusting after 135.
Oh, don't even go there.
Yeah, when that comes out. So, does not exist yet.
You want me to put your wish list up? Let's show them what you want.
Sure. Well, this is my abbreviated wish list. I have a very long wish list. But yeah, so the 135 when they do that. Oh, sorry. The Pro Photo trigger. So I have. So I just recently switched from Elinchrom to Pro Photo. It was a bit of a splurge, as everything Pro Photo is. Sorry, oh, goodness. So I have the trigger. This was the fancy trigger when I bought my kit. They now have a new trigger, which is on my wish list. The one thing that bothered me about going from Elinchrom to Pro Photo is that Elinchrom on the trigger shows you where you are. So, you know, up to 10. Does Godox do like the stops?
They do third stops.
Yeah, no, my brain can't compute. I like 0 to 10.
We could go, I mean, we could
We
do
do 10 steps.
Yeah, if we do, yeah.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I like just easy.
Okay.
So what I did not like about this trigger is that, so if I set my light to 5, this doesn't tell me that it's on 5. It just tells me if I want to increase by half a stop or by a full stop. So you have to go back to your light.
That's a failing.
Right.
Yeah.
So they now have corrected that failing
I'll
with
put
the
your
new
wish list
trigger,
back up. The
which
Pro
would
Photo
be the Connect Pro
trigger.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised because I would have assumed they would have had that on here already, but they did
that's
not.
a reasonable assumption. I would think.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a little disappointing. Okay. What else is in here? So I also have my gray card, and then some, which I almost never use. I do not. I also have a 50, a nifty 50, but it's one of the cheapy ones, and that's what I use when I travel. So actually, more often than not, if I'm traveling and I'm trying to travel light, I use the R6 with the 50 because it does not have the battery grip. It's, pounds lighter, and it's just more convenient. So, okay, so this guy's going back in, and then
So
my little guys.
So those 3 lenses, the 70 to 200, the
Yep.
2470, and the 85.
Yep.
That's just on when I carry my full frame.
Right.
I carry those. I don't care. I also have a 16 to 35.
Oh, wow, yeah.
f2.8, which I carry also. But those 3 lenses, if you have those 3 in your bag, those are your.
And I think I've added. Sorry, I just interrupted you, but when I did the switch over, I had a lot more. Like I had 100 macro, and
Yeah.
I never used it. And so
Yeah.
what I did was I sold the excessive stuff, and I
Lenses.
bought the stuff that I actually use.
Yep.
So
Smart.
this is one of the reasons I was kind of intimidated to do this. What's in my bag? Because I don't have as much as a lot of you guys have.
No,
but
So I have the.
You
This
have
is
another
the,
whole bag of like noise-making
yeah.
stuff.
So this is the curated bag. And then I have the normal stuff, right? Like the lens cloth. I have lens solution, but that's more for my glasses than for my camera. Oh, yep. Hand sanitizer still in there. What else is in here? Oh, I'm probably, sorry, hitting the mic. This would be my little
lens
brush,
cleaner. Nice.
right? Lens cleaner.
I should
And
get
think
one.
it's got,
I don't have one.
yeah, this has got the squeegee part too.
Yeah, need that.
Yeah, I have it in here.
Do you know how that works? Do you know what makes it work? It is-
Static?
No.
Oh, what?
It's actually a very, very fine pulverized charcoal.
Oh,
That's why the cap on that end is super important because it reloads that with the fine charcoal, and that's what absorbs fingerprint oil.
oh.
And that's why you work in circular from the center all the way out to the outside, and that's why there's a brush at the opposite end, so you can brush away any remaining.
My dad would be very disappointed in me for not knowing.
You didn't need to know that. It's just stupid stuff that I know.
Okay, and then in here I've got some extra cards. Can we see? I don't want to hit my.
You're okay. They can
Mic,
see
but-
they
okay.
can see the tabletop.
Yep. So in here there's card slots, which is another thing I love about this
Oh,
bag.
that's nifty.
Yeah. So you don't have to have I used to have the Think Tank. Yep, Velcro-y thing.
Pocket rocket or whatever they call it.
Yes, Pixel Pocket, exactly. This was inspired by Lindsay Adler. I got the star filter,
Oh, okay.
which is super fun in studio. So anything with like sequins.
I might try that at my next corporate headshot.
Uh,
Ka-chow! Little ka-ching!
So
Give me a little wink.
For fine art, I think it's pretty fun. I would not think for corporate headshots. But yeah, so anything. So I've got a lot of jewelry in my studio for the fine art stuff that blings.
In
so
the olden days,
that's really fun.
We used to take Vaseline
I know,
and
yep.
smear it on the. But that was the olden days.
I grew up with a dark room in my house. My dad
Nice.
has been photographing forever. So, business cards,
Nice.
big old chunk.
Congratulations. Seriously.
Oh, spare battery. That's about it in my bag, in that bag. So, okay. Then I'll quickly do the other standard stuff. So when I go on an out of studio shoot, so either equestrian or high school senior, it depends on if I have an assistant or not. So I do have an assistant who I often hire, but sometimes she's not available. She's actually going off to college, which makes me very sad. So I have if I have an assistant kit, and then I have if I'm on my own kit. So if I'm on my own, I have a normal light stand. And then I have the mini, this is the 25-inch
Yep. Mm-hmm.
little dude, which is pretty awesome. I'm not gonna put that back in. And then this is better for the horses because it's obviously they are large. 48-inch. So, and this is another reason I switched to Pro Photo is that I love how easy this clicks onto the light.
They just slide on there.
Just slide on.
So what? You're probably gonna go through this.
Light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I did. I started out with I just got this one. I actually have not even used it yet. So I got the B10X, and then this is the B10X Plus. So it's the newer B10 version, right? I started with the smaller light, which was probably dumb. I should have started with this one, and used the what is it, a 250? And this is 500, I think. Not a techie person, folks, but it was not strong enough. So even with the horse shoots, it kind of gave a tiny bit of fill, but it wasn't.
Because you're using that great big.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I got the big boy.
Yeah.
Big modifier.
Yeah. I'm the A2, which is the new Pro Photo that they've just come out with, which is the size of a Coke can. I'm pretty excited about. I don't know how strong it is.
100 watt seconds.
It's not very much, is it?
No, but I actually have a deal, a video about how much is too much.
Oh.
Yeah. So I took my freak show out in the backyard.
Freak show. Let's define freak show
I
for
know.
our new viewers.
What?
Well, the freak show is it's my mannequin head that's stuck, impaled onto a light stand,
Sounds a
so
little
that I
scary.
can just. Oh, it's horrible. She's vicious. Anyway, she has a wig, and basically what I use it for is just to light patterns, right? So one day it's like today, no clouds. It's bright sunny day. So I thought, I wonder if I could light this up with that 100. This is shortly after I got my 100. So I took the freak show out, planted her in the backyard, got my camera out, planted it on a tripod with a remote trigger and all the stuff. And I took my 100, my 200, my 300, my 400, my 600.
Oh my
all
God,
out.
you have a lot of lights.
I have a few.
Yeah,
I'm like Bob.
a little bit.
I'm a little techie-ish. So
You have gas.
yeah. So I started with the 600, of course, which lit it up, zero problems. Anyway, I got down to the 100 with this little tiny pop can thing, 100 watt seconds, and you'd be surprised, as long as you're not trying to take an environmental portrait,
Sure.
and as long as you can clone out the light stand, it's
Okay,
okay.
because you got to get it nice and
Yeah, you're
close.
tight, but yeah, you're good.
And
Now,
a small modifier.
well, there was actually no modifier on
Okay,
this. I had
bare bulb.
it has a Fresnel
Okay.
front end on it. So that's basically all I had on there. But all of them just had that. In other words, I didn't have any modifiers
didn't
on
change
it. Yeah.
anything.
So,
Oh, very cool.
so if you
Should link that. Can you link that in the, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe.
yeah, you mean my video?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could.
Fun.
I'll have to
But
go.
link it in the comments or whatever.
Yeah, I'll have to go find it. But
Yeah.
it's
I'd love to see
it's
that.
interesting to see, how far everything moved in. Oh, I set up my M50, by the way, in the back, and it was just recording. So I'm walking and talking and doing all this crap out there in my backyard.
So we
That's nice.
took a relatively important photograph not too long ago. And the oh crap moment was when you opened your bag and found out you only had your 100 with you.
Right.
Yeah.
And the 100 from the Godox lineup has a zoom head like speed light. Zoom that to 105, and it was
great.
Plenty enough
Yeah, that was.
to separate us from the mountain behind us that was snow covered
Yeah.
on a bright sunny day.
Yeah.
So really, the answer to this, and I'm pointing like they can see me, but they can't. The larger you go with the modifier and the more layers of diffusion you use outdoor, the more light you need.
Sure.
Bottom line.
Yeah.
It's bottom line, and then there's other factors too, like, did you take a plate shot ahead of time? So in other words, can you clone that light stand out or your modifier out? Because if you didn't do that, and then there's all kinds of other stuff that comes into play. You know, are you trying not to get any spill on the ground? Are you trying not to get any? I mean, there's all kinds of crap
I mean,
we could go through. Yeah. But it's just interesting when I took just the raw materials. I took the Freak Show, hunk. You know,
I bet you call her a freak show.
This is the 600. This is the 400. This is the 300, 200, 100. And when I got done,
Stop saying I took the Freak Show.
I know.
I almost did a spit take on that.
Well, the Freak Show, she's just got a personality all right. She's not nice.
Do you follow or watch Photo Joseph on YouTube?
No, I don't think I have.
Okay. He has
Does
also
he say,
a mannequin.
Does he say Freak Show?
No, he has
I
a
have a
different
mannequin
name.
too with a head and she's super creepy.
Exactly.
Super creepy.
Yeah. No, they're
Like,
Freak Show.
find somebody to put some makeup on that thing.
Right. No. Yeah.
But the whole point of my exercise was how much is too much, right? And what can you get away with? And if you, so I've always been an advocate to shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot more often. And the reason for that is because had I not done that,
Right.
I would never know, right? I mean, and so for you, those of you out there go, well, I don't know, how can you go out and shoot models because it's just a shoot and I don't never use them, whatever, Bob. Anyway, that's the reason.
Just, yeah.
That's the reason why. It's because when I do go out and stuff hits me, you know, there's full sun and I don't have any
Problem solving. I mean, I think it's really fun, right? It's figuring out the puzzle.
And that's the whole deal with most of this stuff is to figure out what you have. The baseball shoot we did earlier this year.
With Mark.
Yep, typical. He was trying to do stuff with modifiers, which is fine, but you're out in harsh sunlight.
Did you end up bare bulb?
Well, we put deep throw reflectors on, and then basically bare bulb. Yeah. So some of the if you're going with the 100 or the A2, there's no such thing as a bare bulb because it's a Fresnel front end.
Right.
The 200 on the Godox line has a bare bulb. It's awkward to change into. Yada yada. I leave the Fresnel head on it most of the time. The 300, 400, and 600 are all bare bulb. So yeah, you can look at that.
That Magnum reflector on the 300 and 400 in the direct mount, the native Godox direct mount is
stunning.
Money.
Yeah, it's so. You have brought your stuff with the Pro Photo thing, which it basically slide. And listen, there's nothing wrong. Actually, I mean, Pro Photo is the bomb, right? There's nothing wrong with them, and they are the professional's preferred light.
They set the bar real high.
Real high,
and real expensive.
But that modifier can slide over that tube and go back and forth. So in other words, you're changing your light modification inside. Godox can't do that. They can, but you have to use that stupid A2 or S2 bracket or whatever it is. That thing's a monster. Then you got this monster thing hanging on it, and then you got your light in the back of it, and it's like.
I just went with Pro Photo because it's the simplicity. Like I find it so intuitive.
And they're simple. They're simple too.
Oh,
so
okay.
They're simple too. They go from 1 to 10, like she was alluding to.
So easy.
That's all power. So.
Monopod.
I need.
So this is if I have an assistant, I use the monopod. If I do not, I use the light stand. I also do a lot of natural light still. Probably more often than.
Not?
Off-camera flash, yep. So I have a homemade, I actually went and got just foam core. I'm sure we all have done this. Like, you've got styrofoam right here. But the art supply store off Chinden, Quality Art, I think it's called Quality Art. Yep, there we go. Bob's got his. And it's still one of the best reflectors I have. I love it. And it can stand itself up. And it's
a mini V-flat.
It's a mini V-flat. And it's been run over in my garage. And it's seen some days, but it still works. And I love it.
It's seasoned.
Yep. The other thing I have is this monster. I think it's 6 foot. reflector.
open that.
I am not opening this
Thank you.
because then I have to close it, which is always the fun part. But it's just silver and white, and it's full body size. It works really well if you've got a stool, a step stool, if you do not have an assistant, and you just lean it against the step stool, and there's your
So
assistant.
is that a like a oval, or is it a circle, big circle, or oval?
It's a very stretched out oval.
Oval, okay.
So it's almost like body shaped.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. This is the more unique fun stuff. So this
Anytime you
is
start
my
with the feather duster in
my-
there, that's
Yep.
unique.
I bet nobody else has the feather duster in
I'm
their
just gonna
bag.
back over here.
I don't.
right?
I don't have a feather duster.
So this is my horse bag of tricks. So the one thing when you're shooting horses, photographing horses, I hate when I say shooting horses, their ears have to be forward for the image to be good. So you want to be able to get their attention, which is often very hard. Funny enough, I shot my friend's horse, photographed my friend's horse a couple nights ago, and it was hot, and he'd been ridden, and he was so tired he wasn't responding to hardly anything. So, which then they just look dopey and sleepy. So the feather duster works really well if you just kind of tickle their nose and then pull it. You have to have somebody helping you, obviously, but you kind of go like this in their face and pull it back, and they go, "What's that?" And they look at it and they curve their neck really beautifully and click.
By the way, a lot of these tips we've heard before when Carrie did
Oh, yes.
it was a last fall retreat.
It was fall retreat out in
Drake.
Setonia.
in
Yeah,
Chitonia,
yeah.
and she did a deal on equestrian and equine photography, and it was awesome. I didn't know any of it because I've always been afraid of shooting horses. I don't know how
They're
they
big.
I don't know how they react to light, all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
oh
That
gosh,
was a super profitable experience for me as well.
sorry.
It was fun.
Just learning to work with the horses and spend time with them. And I learned that you can't walk next to them because they just walk where they want to and push you off the path. You have to lead them.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say that's not, yeah, you have to be the boss.
No, I know, but I was like, oh, I'm just walking next to him. But he has, like, the horse had no awareness that I was trying to stay on the path.
Right.
Sure.
So I figured out that I have to be in front of them so that I can not get off the path.
Okay. Technically, you're supposed to be at their shoulder, but different session. Anyway, okay. I always have cloths because horses are gross, dirty beasts, and it reduces my Photoshop time if I wipe the snot out of their nose or the gunk out of their eyes. I mean, as with any of our sessions, prep the owner significantly to have them bathed and cleaned and, very thoroughly groomed and to have all of their tack cleaned. But inevitably,
Stuff happens.
they literally put their nose down on the ground to sniff something and it's covered in dirt.
Yeah.
So these are key. These aren't really horse specific. I have a lot of dog toys. So horses love peppermints. So they know the sound of a peppermint pat, like the wrapper. So this often gets their attention. This is a cat toy, actually. My dog chewed this out of a toy, so I stole it. Repurposed. All sorts, and every horse is different, right? Different horses will react to different noises. This one finally got my friend's horse the other night to look. So this is just a baby rattle. And he thought that was kind of interesting. This is something from convention. So this is Kay Eskridge's, I don't remember what she called it.
I don't remember either. This
God, it's all
is
caught.
her pet photography.
This
Like
is
a
for
fob of
dogs.
things, right?
It's a fob of things, right? So this is, she uses it for dogs, but I'm like, you know what? That'll work for horses. So it has another squeaker.
That's a kazoo!
It has a kazoo. The kazoo doesn't work, unfortunately. It has a whistle. It has
Hoping
a
you'd do a kazoo
clicker.
song for us.
So basically anything that makes noise that is interesting to a horse, I try to gather and throw into my bag. And it is always really important, obviously, to have the conversation with the owner ahead of time. Is your horse reactive? Does your horse not like feathers? Whatever.
Yeah.
Like if they're going to react, and I'll show you, I have an app. Some horses, it works brilliantly. Other horses, it freaks them out, and they start really getting too amped
Oh,
up.
that's the app that has like animal sounds.
Yes.
Right.
I'll show you that in a second. Okay, this is my other wonderful thing that I absolutely love. This is an equestrian photo halter. And I am not going to be able to demo this unless you want to pretend to be a horse.
Yeah.
And
The
it's
front
total,
of the back.
But basically, it's designed so that you put this over the horse's muzzle, and then it goes over behind the horse's ear, and then you can clip the lead onto it. So it's a nice thin, so over their nose, it's just this. And it's really strong, so you can still
You don't
hold
have the
your
leather.
horse.
You don't have the leather.
So so the naked pictures, I call them, most of them I just Photoshop it out. And it's nice and easy because it's
So as opposed to like the bit in the rain.
Right, so I normally do naked pictures with this. I'll do some with a halter, and I'll do some with a bridle. The bridle's the one with the bit and all that. Because it's just, they're all different looks, right? So this thing is brilliant. There's a gal in the Netherlands, I think, who makes these. And I just ordered it for like $30, and it's amazing. And then I have walkie-talkies. This was a Dennis Hammond thing from convention. I think it was 1 or 2 conventions ago where he did the what's in my bag. These are brilliant. So if I am far away from the horse and the horse's owner, I can still say, hey, move a little to your left, move a little to your right, et cetera, et cetera.
That's a good idea. So
well, because I want to be as far back as I can be. Right, to get that pretty bokeh. So these are awesome. Okay, so that is everything in the horsey bag. And it changes, right? Like if I find something that's cool and seems to work, I'll add it to the bag. But this is my all-time go-to. So unfortunately, my phone does not want to mirror for some reason.
It's nice and tight. They'll be able to see it.
Okay, so that dude right there, it's called All Ears Selfie. So it's actually meant for horse owners to be able to take selfies with their horses. I do not use it that way. If you look on here, there's all sorts of. So, some horses, there's an apple. This one usually gets them.
No.
That one's for Kim, the donk. But there's a whole bunch of different noises on here. There's even the peppermint, crinkle. So it works brilliantly most of the time. As I mentioned, some horses, if you hit the whinny, some of them, like my old horse used to do this, he would start whinnying back and get really amped up. So often, if that starts happening, we just turn this off and use something else. Usually, if they're that high-strung, something else will have gotten their attention anyway. So that is an app I use all the time. And then I also use, I know Sam talked about this in his session, but no, Sun Scout. So Sun Scout, when I'm scouting, I will see where the sun, I don't know if you can see this super well.
Yeah, I can see it. And I can actually punch in a little bit tighter.
Yeah, so it shows you where the sun is going to be at a specific time. So it's really convenient for, like, if I'm shooting in Sun Valley, well, any valley really, right? But if the sun is, Sam said the same thing, but like if sunset is at 8:30, but it's actually gonna fall behind that hill at 8:20, you need to know that, obviously, so that you're in the right place at the right time. So I will, it's cool.
Photo pills will do, is another good one, or it used to be called the photographer's ephemeris.
Oh, it's called photo pills now?
Photo pills now, yeah, so.
But that's different to the one that Sam used?
No, I think it's the same one.
Okay, well this one's Sun Scout.
Yeah.
I do a screenshot. So I'll scout, sorry.
There's several of them.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so.
I just like that one. So I'll scout a location, I'll take, cell phone images of the location, and then I'll take a cell phone image screenshot of where the sun's gonna be at that time, so that when I'm putting together, for doing a senior session with 4 different locations or whatever, I know exactly what time I'm gonna be at what location, so.
So note to those people that do use those type of apps, because I did photo pills on my Milky Way shoot the other night, and I was out where there was very limited cell phone coverage.
Yeah.
So that will hamper you instead of help you. So just keep that in mind. So.
Yep.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome, Carrie. Thank you.
So that's my stuff.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, there's a whole bunch of other stuff in my studio, but that's more flower crowns and blingy jewelry.
it's studio stuff.
It's studio stuff.
Yeah. And we're not. This isn't what's in your studio.
Nope.
That's in your bag.
Yep.
So, yeah. Cool. Well, we're at 11:51, or 11:52, something like that. So we are closing out here pretty quickly. And thanks, Carrie.
Cool.
We
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thanks to Bob for putting this on. He's standing behind the scenes today. Give him a day off from being behind the camera. We both know that as most of you do, that if you have something every single week takes an hour and a half or more, it's taxing. So trying to give him a little bit of a break too. So don't forget.
I think it's giving our viewers a break from having to look at me.
Oh, stop.
Well, there's that too. Yeah. Don't forget that we're coming up on the fall retreat. There'll be much more information coming out. I've got about 4 more contacts to make. Bob and I have to go over to Baker City and wrap up where we're going to stay and all that kind of stuff, and do some time trials like how far is this and how far back and how long does it take to go here and come back and yada yada. And then we have our convention coming up, which is next March. So that's going to be pretty good. I think we're ahead of the curve, I think, for sure this year. Yeah.
So I'll just throw this out there. PPA's fall workshops are coming up.
Yes, they are.
September 5th through the 19th. So be looking for workshops. We usually run 4 to 5 workshops throughout Idaho.
Yep.
Amy Peterson, Ellen Ansel, and I all teach workshops.
And Phil White.
Yeah. So we're going to do.
And I wouldn't be a bit surprised if I don't know on the eastern side if the Hammonds do or not, but I wouldn't be a bit surprised if they don't.
Typically it has been the last 2 years.
Yeah.
It's typically 4 to 5 workshops. But we're going to run. So in May we did our one light workshop, 13 different ways to light a subject using one light. And we're going to piggyback off of that for the fall workshops using our multi-light workshop that starts with a one light setup and works through a 5 light setup in a studio environment. I think that we're working towards Tuesday the 13th of September for that, but I'll have more on that in a little bit. But that's coming up. That's all still processing through.
To get to that, you go to ppa.com. Obviously, you sign in. You look for your workshops in your region or your state, and they'll pop up for you. And even some in, I think, didn't Amy do some in North Idaho and Sandpoint, I believe, and maybe I can't remember who else. Anyway, make sure and look for those. So, as always, we'd love to have you join us. So,
absolutely.
Fall retreat is the fun thing that we do.
It's our hangout.
It's our hangout.
It's bonding and it's shooting.
Yeah, and it's just
food.
It's food. So we'd love to have you join us for that. Pretty simple. ppfidaho.com, and you just go. There's a big join us button right there. You hit that. It's $9.99 a month if you do it by the month, and we'd like to make sure you do it for a 12-month commitment. We do ask for that. Or if you want to save some money, it's $99 a year, and you just pay your.
Which is, I mean,
it's nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, it's like
well worth.
It's like
every penny.
It's like 2 times of going to pizza and beer, and
exactly.
You're already paid for it. And by the way, if you own a business, you can write that off. So just letting you know that also. So with that, Carrie, do you have anything else?
Thanks, Larry.
Yeah, no,
I don't.
Okay.
Thanks, Carrie.
Hey, you guys finally got me on here.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so next week we lined up Tim Schmidt, and he has been sent out of the state for work next week. So I have an opening for What's in My Bag next week. If there's a photographer out there that would like to come in and share
Wasn't
the
Laquita going to
contents.
do it?
What's that?
Laquita?
We'll see about that. I've been talking to Jen.
Oh, yeah.
And I love Jen's rig because she's super minimalist. And she's like, well, I don't have a lot to share. I'm like, but you do. And it's not just what's in my bag. It's
why
why.
it's in the bag. Yeah.
So anyway, we have an opening next week.
Yeah, cool. That's kind of what I was alluding to your bag. You say I don't have a lot, and I'm saying that camera with those
That's all I need.
little lenses, perfect. All right.
It's easy to add to it.
Yeah. Join us, ppfidaho.com. Go to that join us button, and somebody will be right here. It might not be me, but I don't know that for a fact. So somebody will be here next week.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome.
Talk to you later.